Un saludo a todos los hermanos en esta noche
A greeting to all
de hoy lunes
brethren this
14
evening,
de
today,
noviembre de este año 2022. Estuve
14th of November of this year 2022.
todo lo que hemos
I've
estado
been
hablando
searching and studying
en estos días
everything that we have been talking about in these days,
de hoy también,
and today's greeting
el
also,
cual hemos visto
which we have seen how in each time
ha cumplido
God has fulfilled His divine program through
del mensajero
the messenger that God has sent
en cada
in
dispensación.
each age and in each dispensation.
Los escogidos de esa edad y
And
de
the elect of that age and of that dispensation
que escuchar
have to listen and have to receive
por el cual
the
Dios
one through whom
ha enviado
God has sent
hablar esas
to
promesas
speak those
para que
promises,
sean materializadas
so that they may be materialized
los hijos de Dios
in the children of God
cada edad y en cada
in each
dispensación
age
que
and
Dios
in
ha
each
enviado
dispensation that God
a
has
ese
sent
profeta
that
mensajero
prophet messenger,
para que así obtengan
so that
ellos
they may
en ese
obtain
grado esa dispensación
in that age or that
reciban las
dispensation may receive
promesas y se cumplan las
the
promesas
promises
en
and
él.
promises may be fulfilled in them.
Para cada dispensación y para
For
cada edad,
each dispensation and for each age, God has a program,
todos ellos
and all of them have been coming to this planet Earth
y
and
han recibido los que son
have received those who are predestined to receive that messenger, have received the messenger and have obtained
para ellos
the blessings that God has for them in each age and in each dispensation. A person
obtener las
can't
promesas
obtain
que Dios ha hecho en el tiempo
that promise that God has made in the time in which he has lived in if he doesn't receive and listen
al cual
to
Dios
the
ha
one
enviado
whom God has
para
sent
que sea hablada
to speak
esa promesa, esa
that
palabra,
promise, that
y así
word,
los escogidos de
so
ese
that the
tiempo
chosen ones of that time
recibirla.
may receive it and believe it.
Si tú no crees la boca por
If
la
you
cual
don't
se
believe
van
the
a
mouth
revelar
through
las
which
promesas
the
de
divine
Dios,
promises that will be fulfilled in you
uno como individuo
as an individual will be
no se
spoken,
puede materializar esa
that promise
promesa en
can't
tu vida,
materialize
porque
in your
es
life
como si
because
antes de
it is
obtener ese cuerpo
like Adam,
físico, no
before obtaining that physical
quería o no
body,
quiso
didn't want or
escuchar
didn't
la voz
want
de
to
Dios,
listen to the voice of
no
God.
hubiese venido a vida.
He wouldn't have come to
Si
life.
lo ponemos en el caso de que
If
se
we
quedaba como
put
polvo,
it in the case
no
of
venía a vida.
he would have remained as dust. He wouldn't have come to life. And thus,
Escuche
every
la
person
voz,
who doesn't listen to the voice that will bring
se
that
quedará como
change
el
of
polvo de la
body
tierra. Y
will
por eso
remain
entonces
as
tendrá que
dust
morir.
of the earth.
Al polvo,
And so then
pues al
he
polvo
will have to
regresará.
die. From dust you were created, and for to dust thou shalt return.
Que fuiste formado, aunque
You
vino
can't
por
obtain
una
that
línea
change of that new body
va por el
with
sexo,
that dust
como fue en el principio con
which
Eva
were
y
formed,
Adán.
though it came by a line of
De esa manera que
by a line
traído a asistencia,
from
pero
Eve
fue
by sex as it was in the beginning with Eve and Adam. Thus, in that way, you were brought into existence, but
pero se usaron los
it was from the dust of the earth that we were created. In other words, although the elements were used
para crear ese cuerpo.
by the father and the mother, by
Polvo fuiste tomado,
that,
el polvo volverá.
but the same were used, atoms, the same elements to create that body. That is why it is said, from dust you were taken, and to dust thou shalt return.
Por esa
Every
palabra
time a
hablar,
person dies,
esa vida de
in other
ese
words, the
cuerpo
person, by not believing and listening to the one who will be speaking through the breath of life, through that spoken word, that life of the new glorified internal body
de edad en edad, de dispensación
will automatically
en dispensación,
return
porque ellos
where he came
lucharon
from,
a
to
ese
the dust
que
of the earth.
en ese tiempo.
What has been happening from age to age, from dispensation to dispensation, because they didn't listen to the one who speak,
Volver otra vez al polvo.
who would speak at that time
Polvo volverá.
for the promise of the eternal body. That is why it wasn't fulfilled in them, and they had what? To return back to the dust. For dust you were taken, and to dust thou shalt return. They didn't hear the voice. Now they will hear the voice of the resurrection,
Ve, Lázaro ven fuera.
because it's also the voice that they will be resurrected.
Al ser hablado,
It can't be another way.
se materializa.
It has to be the way Jesus called Lazarus. See? Lazarus come forth. He called to life. How? By the spoken word. By being spoken, the word
Teniendo control de la
the word of creation is materialized again and returning a man with a title deed,
vida eterna de un ser humano con un cuerpo
having control over nature, over creation, over control over eternal life. God breathed in Jesus breathed into Jesus at the first coming, breathed the breath of life to create a theophanic body. In John 14, I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, and where I am, they may also be. You see, he created that theophanic body in the sixth dimension. Just as he created in the sixth dimension by a breath of life, so also is the second coming by that breath of life, by a spoken word, an eternal glorified body. It couldn't be another way of just listening a message being spoken, which although it has everything, the vitamins and everything there, but those vitamins must be known how to be given to the one who is going to receive that healing. You can't give a vitamin to a child and put it in front of him, and you are aware that it will heal him. But if you don't have the way to give it to him, either by injection or by mouth, he may take less, he may take more, and what it will do is harm. The same medicine that is to heal him can make him more sick or cause him another problem. There must be a way, and someone to take those vitamins, those medicines, that message of cornerstone of dispensation of the kingdom brought to us by the powerful Archangel Gabriel. Then through the mouth that has been spoken, the final and full fulfillment of the second coming, which is with his angels at the end of time, in the fulfillment of the 10th vision, where that total restoration of human being will be spoken to obtain that eternal and glorified body by that breath of life, that spoken word. Because he breathed into him and he said, "Receive ye the Holy Ghost." See? He didn't just breathe, he spoke. They waited a few days for the promise and they believed in what he spoke. It wasn't just listening to him. In other words, it is not just listening, but it is listening, believing, and waiting patiently for it to be fulfilled. That is why now in this time, we have to receive, we have to listen, all that breath of life that is being imparted in each one of us, so that when the time of transformation comes, those who are going to be resurrected also receive that breath of life, the spoken word, and bring them to life, to resurrection, bring them to existence again. When we see them already having those flesh winds of the promised land to receive, then through that spoken word, the new body, everything returning to Eden, everything returning to the beginning, the human being again with the title deed in his hand, with the title deed to create heavens, to create worlds. And one of the worlds that he will create is the eternal body, an eternal world, an eternal body, an eternal millennium, eternity to reign then in that glorious millennial kingdom of the Lord, which is soon to be established, and all will be by the spoken word. Resurrection is established, transformation is established, tribulation is established, the millennium is established, all by spoken word, through the veil of flesh, the same as he has always done in all ages, in all dispensations. He has used the veil of flesh to fulfill the divine program, for we are God's ambassadors here on earth, God's representatives, God's mouth, always a man. That is the promise that God has for us in this time, which we treasure. And we say with the prophetic eyes, because it is a people with a prophetic perception that would see that, understand and hear the voice of transformation. In other words, it would be that those in the sixth dimension, represented there in Lazarus, he heard the voice of the resurrection. What those in the sixth dimension will hear, and those who are alive now will hear the voice of transformation. In other words, it would be the voice of the Lord in this end time to produce those promises, both those who have departed and those who are alive, and to seal the 144,000, so that they also receive the promise of the Spirit of God again in their midst. Everything being established by the spoken word. The spoken word through the mouth of a human being, of a man, anointed with the Spirit of God in this end time to fulfill the promises relevant to the 10th vision. Today is Monday, 14th of November. I wanted to record these words as an introduction or a preamble to everything we are talking about these days. And each time we see how God is giving us more things. Each time more and more, as the time for Him to fulfill everything that remains to be fulfilled in this end time draws near. The promise of resurrection and transformation being fulfilled by the spoken word. In other words, it would be the voice of the resurrection and the voice of transformation for the fulfillment of that promise. That would be the topic of this little talk that I recorded at this time on this Monday afternoon, November 14th of this year 2022. Let us be prepared, because from one moment to another something great will be happening in the midst of the church, which is already being in the spiritual sphere, because the greatest thing that God is doing is the opening of the Word, the opening of the seventh seal, the opening of the mystery of the second coming of the Lord, as it was in the time of Brother Branham. The greatest thing that he brought while he was in that ministry on earth for running the second coming of the Lord was the opening of the six seals, the first 6 seals. And the greatest thing of the third pole in the fulfillment of the 10th vision is the opening of the 7th seal, to open the mystery of the second coming of the Lord with His angels. And the angels, we know that they are ministers of Moses and Elijah. Let us be prepared, because from one moment to another we will be entering a stage where the presence of God will be seen with everything that was shown the Reverend William Branham in that vision of the Gotent Cathedral. In that moment, there will not be any opportunity to prepare oneself. The time to prepare to hear the voice of transformation is now. The voice of resurrection and the voice of transformation for the elect of God of this end time, of the age of the cornerstone and the dispensation of the kingdom, which we are already living in this end time in which we are living. Today is the day to hear the voice of the resurrection and to hear the voice of transformation. May God bless you. May God keep you all.